Forge Gang! I am still a hard man! Let's go! I am your host, Imperatorofforge, otherwise known as Forge Warhammer. I am the leader of Forge Gang, coming at you live. And this is Imperatorofforge Reviews the Saiyan Arc. This is a new era, an era carved out of super savage warriors in space. An age of space and an age of aliens invading the planet Earth and causing some conflict and chaos. A time of new fighting and battle techniques, of power levels and scouters, of Saiyan attack balls and battle armor, and super alien warriors fighting and beating the puke out of one another. So, there is new lore, new discoveries, new adventures, after the end of the 23rd greatest under the heavens martial arts tournament. So, for clarification, I will not be covering the filler. The anime filler will not be covered. So, the 5 episodes of Goku and Chi-Chi going around and gathering items and stuff to save Goimao's wedding dress and all of that is completely skipped. Instead, we move 5 years of peace after the defeat of Devil Emperor Piccolo, the defeat of Piccolo Daimao, Demon Jr. at the tournament. Goku is the declared world martial arts champion. Goku is the champion of martial arts, and it brings a period of 5 years. But those 5 years go by very quickly. And on one eventful day, somewhere out in the snow-capped or snow-covered mountains, there is a farmer that is gathering hay for his livestock. A simple, ordinary, average Joe farmer, and he looks up, and at one particular moment of one particular day, a very beautiful day, with the clouds going overhead, something strange comes out of the sky. It looks like a comet, but it is not. It is not a meteorite. It is a spaceship. And that spaceship crashes on the ground and blows up and leaves a crater. And the farmer gets in his car and rushes over to the crater, and he sees a Saiyan attack pod. And the door opens up, and out of the shadows, a warrior from another planet emerges from its shadows. A warrior with long, blazing black hair, strange, as of yet unseen armor, a machine or a scouter on his head as he flies up and confronts the farmer. And using his machine, he detects that the farmer's power level is 5. The guy tries to shoot him. The Saiyan takes the bullet, flicks it back at him, and kills the farmer. And with that montage, or monologue, we doth see the beginning of the new era of Dragon Ball Z. The era of the Saiyans has begun. The warrior exclaims that he has come to Earth to find Kakarot, and is actually depressed and quite fooled or even shocked that there are still life forms on this Earth. Kakarot had been sent decades prior to Earth to wipe out all of the intelligent life forms on the planet. And this warrior is quite shocked that his little brother Kakarot had failed in his mission. And so he proceeds to fly off or use Buku Jutsu to fly into the air. Eventually, he finds a much higher power level, a power level of 330, and he rushes towards it and runs into Piccolo Daimao, who is out in the desert. Piccolo is completely overwhelmed by the enormous ki that he senses. And so, we have the confrontation between Piccolo and this new threat. Piccolo fires a Mysenko blast, and it does absolutely nothing. It doesn't even so much as flesh anything about this warrior. He is on another level of strength. But before it can finish, the warrior flies off trying to find Kakarot. And in his mind, we see an image of a baby or an infant known as Kakarot. And this infant looks much the same as the young Son Goku. What is going on? What is this mystery? Where does it all connect? So Goku and someone else is riding on the Kento-un to the Mutin Roshi Island. So Goku arrives, it's been 5 years, he meets Roshi, Bulma, Krillin, and so on. Bulma has broken up with Yamcha, who has gone to pursue a career in professional baseball. So Bulma and Yamcha have broken up. Roshi is the same as he's always been, and they begin to reminisce on old times. So, for the last 5 years, Goku has been busy, has a hobby collecting Dragon Balls. His grandfather's 4-star ball is on the hat of someone who is with him, and he has already collected 3 of the Dragon Balls. It turns out that Goku now has a son. Yes, Goku is now a father. And he has a son that he has named after his grandpa Gohan, Sun Gohan. And he is about 4 years old, and they're actually surprised. Oh yeah, Turtle is also there. They are surprised and actually excited to meet Goku's new son, Gohan, as they talk and reminisce about old times. But then Goku senses an enormous ki. At first, he thinks it's Piccolo, but it's far greater and far more dangerous than anything he has ever sensed ever before. And it finally arrives. The alien warrior arrives on Roshi's island, and he finds Goku, and he refers to Goku as Kakarot, his little brother. And he is absolutely aghasted at the incredible sight, the pathetic sight that he sees in front of him. His own little brother, Kakarot, has not completed his mission and has actually cohabited with the life forms on this planet. A very unusual and strange, disambiguous conversation follows. Krillin thinks that the man is drunk, but he takes out his tail and slaps Krillin right into the side of Kami House. Goku knows that this guy is stronger than he is, but he doesn't know who this person is. It turns out that he is Goku's older brother, Raditz, the Saiyan warrior. And he has come to Earth to try to get Kakarot to join with the Saiyans in a organization or in selling planets off. the Saiyans go around to other planets, wipe out and exterminate the life forms, and proceed to sell it on the high intergalactic trade market. Raditz is absolutely shocked to see that Kakarot no longer has his Saiyan tail. So at long last, we finally know why Goku, when he was a kid, had a tail. We know why Gohan has a tail. And we finally discover, at long last, the biological origins of Goku. And the deeper lore has to Goku's origins. In this sense, Akira Toriyama is exploring the Superman mythos. He is exploring the legends and the movies and comics of Superman, and his origins on planet Krypton has Kal-El. So it turns out that there are only but 4 Saiyans left in the entire universe. Their previous occupied planet or world, Planet Vegeta, had allegedly been destroyed by a meteorite, or by a collision with a meteorite or a comet that destroyed it. Most of the Saiyans were wiped out, and so there are only 4 Saiyans left, including Kakarot and Raditz. Their conversation proceeds to where Raditz would like Goku to join the Saiyans in their fight to conquer other planets, beginning with Earth. It turns out that the Saiyans had been on a previous mission to another planet that they were supposed to wipe out within the premise of a month in order to satisfy their clients. But they needed another Saiyan to help them in the endeavor. So Raditz had come to pick up Kakarot. Finally, we get from Master Roshi a story from Grandpa's son Gohan, the guy that Goku fought in the finals back in the Fortune Teller Baba arc, in that tournament of the 5 champions. It turns out that Grandpa Gohan had found Goku in a Saiyan attack pod, or a Saiyan space ball, and that he was a very unruly and wild child. But because of a head injury and sustaining brain damage, Goku had forgotten all about his alien heritage, and Grandpa's son Gohan had kept it hidden from him. There is also the talk about tails and the greatest power that the Saiyans have, the ability to transform into the Ozaru under the light of the full moon. Regardless, Raditz wants Goku to join him, which of course Goku refuses. So Raditz forces or compels Kakarot to kill at least 100 people by tomorrow, and to ensure that the traitor Kakarot would carry out his order, Raditz kidnaps Gohan and decides to take Gohan to raise him up as a Saiyan or a half Saiyan. And so Raditz kidnaps Gohan and takes him. It seems that the entire endeavor is very fruitless. They have no idea what exactly they should do. Krillin and Master Roshi want to help Goku, but Goku insists that they don't because they've already been brought back to life by the Dragon Balls once, and the dragon cannot grant the same wish more than once, meaning that they cannot be revived again. Then Piccolo appears. Everyone is shocked to see the reemergence of Devil Emperor Piccolo, Piccolo Dai Mao. But there is no hope to be gained in it. Piccolo makes a proposal to join in a truce with Goku and together to fight against Raditz, who is a threat to his plans for world domination. So, using the Dragon Radar, Gohan having a Dragon Ball on his hat, Goku and Piccolo set out to fight Raditz with everything they have. Eventually, Bulma, Roshi, and Krillin follow in pursuit in an airship. Raditz, tired of hearing Gohan's crying, throws him into his attack ball. Then Raditz scans and gets a power reading of 710, and he thinks that his scouter is broken. Then he detects a power level of 330 and 345. It is Goku and Piccolo. They arrive at the battlefield. Raditz instinctively insists that they must have a death wish to be fighting against him. And so the battle begins. Goku, as he did in the 23rd greatest under the heavens martial arts tournament, takes off his heavy-weighted dogi, and Piccolo, to Goku's chagrin, also has heavy-weighted dogi that he takes off in the form of his hat and cape. Suddenly, Raditz gets a higher power level scouter reading, this time of 360 and 375, as their battle power, which had been suppressed, goes up. Raditz is quite astounded at how they are able to manipulate their power level scouter readings. Regardless, the battle gets underway. Raditz explains that he will not go easy on them. Kakarot is a traitor to the Saiyans, and he will be defeated and exterminated, along with the rest of the planet's inhabitants. So the battle gets underway, but before either Goku or Piccolo can even notice, Raditz is already behind them and he knocks them both out. Then Goku finds out that his son Gohan is locked up inside the Saiyan attack ball. Regardless, the battle gets underway. Goku and Piccolo power up, they rush in and they fight and exchange multiple blows against Raditz. The fight goes into the air as they continue to fight, as they go at super fast warping speeds, trying to catch Raditz off guard, but it is to no avail. Raditz flies up and fires 2 Kai blasts. One of them hits Piccolo, and they hit at opposite directions and cause atomic bomb explosions that result in mushroom clouds and destroy an entire range of lowland hills. Piccolo only has one arm. Raditz proceeds to mock Piccolo. However, Piccolo explains that he has one technique that he has developed over the last 5 years of intensive training. So Goku goes all in and fights Raditz, hoping to try to survive long enough for Piccolo to power up the Makin Kasapo attack, a super powerful new devil demonic energy attack. Goku fights as best as he can, and he holds the guard, but even in just the few minutes that is required to power up the Mako Kasapo, he is completely beaten up and overpowered. Then Goku fires the Kamehameha, which Raditz, surprised that his power level went up to 900, grabs and blocks, and then fires a quick Kai blast that blows Goku out of the sky. Goku falls to the ground completely injured as Raditz proceeds to topple and stomp on him. Then, at the last second, Raditz scans and finds a power level that is over 1,000. It is Piccolo with the Makin Kasapo. Goku then grabs Raditz's Saiyan tail, causing him to weaken. Raditz proceeds to beg Goku and explain that he will leave the Earth and never return. Goku, being gullible as he always is, lets go of the tail and has his lower rib cage broken by a hit from Raditz, who barely dodges the Makin Kasapo as it is fired. He is greatly injured on his shoulder, but survives. Then Raditz proceeds to try to attack Piccolo, and is stomping on Goku and breaking his ribs. Then the Saiyan attack ball blows up. Gohan jumps down and is completely inflamed in anger as his battle power rises to 1,100. And then Gohan goes all out in a Kai Aura blast attack and headbutts Raditz, breaking up and damaging his armor or his front plate or his front armor plate to where he is less mobile. Raditz picks Gohan up. Gohan has forgotten everything that happened. Raditz realizes that the Saiyan-human hybrid is too dangerous to be kept alive and wants to kill Gohan and throws him on the ground. Then Goku, with everything that he has left, grabs and holds Raditz from his back, using his 4 limbs to hold him in a grip lock. Goku holding Raditz, his older brother, in a grip lock, Piccolo fires the last Makon Kasapo, and it goes right through them both. They are both hit directly, and they both die and are mortally wounded from the attack. Piccolo commends Goku on his sacrifice, but, to their utter shock, Raditz was a low-class warrior. And it turns out that the other 2 Saiyan survivors are much, much stronger than Raditz ever was. Raditz explains that they are out on a mission and will eventually arrive on Earth, and Kakarot has died. But Piccolo, talking to Raditz, who still has his scouter that is able to transmit messages to other scouters and to other Saiyans who are listening in on the reading, Piccolo tells Raditz about the Dragon Balls and their power to grant wishes. And therefore, they will use the Dragon Balls to resurrect Son Goku. Raditz explains that the Saiyans will arrive in less than a year, or about 1 year, and Piccolo, angered but also shocked, proceeds to kill Raditz. So, when Bulma, Roshi, and Krillin arrive, they are absolutely struck in shock and horror to see Goku die. Goku tells them that he will come back when they revive him, and Krillin and Goku say goodbye. This is the reverse opposite of what happened at the end of the 22nd Greatest Under the Heavens martial arts tournament, when Krillin died, and Goku proceeded to avenge his death. Now it is Krillin who is alive and Goku that is dying. Goku, for the first time in the Dragon Ball mangaka, dies. He passes away, and his body dissipates into the ether and vanishes. Piccolo explains that it is the work of the god of Earth, Kami, who must have special or unique plans for Goku. Somewhere far out in space, in the outer cosmos, on a distant green planet, all of the species of life forms that inhabited that planet have been completely eradicated. There is the site of a battle in an area of dense trees and a clear-out. 2 other Saiyans are eating the corpses of the warriors that they killed. They are absolute and utter space savages as they cannibalistically devour the aliens. They discuss and talk about the unique potential of the Dragon Balls and the failure that traitor Kakarot was. They lament that Raditz was too weak to do anything serious to the Earthlings. They comment that Kakarot is a traitor and he deserved far worse than what he got. And so, after much debate and conversation, they decide that they will go to Earth and use the Dragon Balls to wish for immortality so they can fight forever. an absolute lamentable and optional directive. And so, with that decision, the two Scions get into their Saiyan attack balls and head to Earth, in which they are put into a deep sleep for 1 year. In the afterlife, or in Otherworld, we cut to Yenma Dio, or King Yenma's check-in station in the afterlife. All of the souls of the dead travel and pass through this afterworld check-in station. The great god of death and life, Yenma Dio, is proceeding to check through and read every single thing that Goku ever did throughout his life, and decides that he is indeed suitable to go to heaven. But the god of Earth, Kami, who is with Goku now has a halo levitating over his head, by the way, tries to get Enma to accept Goku to travel along the Snake Way to train under Kaio. Goku asks what happened to Raditz, and Yenma Dio explained that he tried to put up a fight, so he powered and suppressed him, entrapped him in a ball, and sent him to everlasting hell. Goku is really impressed with just how strong Enma really is. But Kami tells Goku that Kaio is far more stronger than Enma is. Enma explains that when Kami passes through his check-in station to the afterlife, he will consider that as part of his judgment. Kami, of course, is very surprised. Regardless, with the help of the Earth's god, Kami, Goku is able to cross the Snake Way and proceeds to drive in a car with an Onion or an Oni or an ogre to the Snake Way. Kami laments that Goku is truly the only hope that the Earth has to stop and overcome the Saiyans. And then Enma Dio demands that Kami leave his check-in station or his palace because he is blocking the way of the souls going to the afterlife. In the living world, Piccolo decides that he will take Gohan to train him. Piccolo realizes that they will need all the power and all the help that they will need to defeat the Saiyans when they arrive on Earth. And so Piccolo decides to train Gohan himself. He gives the others the Dragon Balls and lets them to begin their search for the Dragon Balls. Piccolo flies away with Gohan, and so Piccolo flies into a vast wild wilderness teeming with dinosaurs, throws Gohan into a stream or a creek, wakes him up. Piccolo explains that his father Goku has died, and he will eventually be brought back to life, but 2 other Saiyans are on their way to Earth, and they will wipe out the entire population of the Earth if Gohan does not help. Gohan explains that he wants to be a scholar and doesn't know a thing about fighting. So Piccolo grabs Gohan, throws him at a mountain. Gohan, enraged with a strange amount of power, fires a gigantic Kai blast that destroys everything in the front. So much so that there is nothing left in that direction. Piccolo is truly impressed at Gohan's amazing human-Saiyan hybrid power and abilities. So Piccolo leaves Gohan out in the wilderness by himself with dinosaurs to survive for 6 months. And then, for the last 6 months, will proceed to train him. Gohan is almost eaten by a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, but because of his lack of knowledge, but with his unique ability, is able to dodge the Tyrannosaurus Rex's bite, or giant mouth and jumps up to the top of a cliff, where he is stranded and left alone and cold and embitter. In the other world, Goku arrives at Snake Way. The ogre explains that it is 10 billion kilometers long, and Goku will have to cross 10 billion kilometers to reach Kaio and to train under him. This is where Goku learns that Kaio is the overseer or the watcher of the cosmos, and is in fact the god of the universe, the god of outer space, or the overseer of both the higher and the lower worlds, or the higher and lower cosmos. Goku tells the ogre if he can reach out to Fortune Teller Crone to tell her to tell the others to not bring him back to life for 1 year so that he can train under Kaio, the god of the universe. And so Goku begins his flying and journey across Snake Way. But it turns out that it's a very, very, very long journey. It is a far more challenging and daunting journey than climbing up Karin Tower or the journey to the Heavenly Sanctuary or anything that he has ever done before. But Goku runs, he walks, and he flies as he makes his way across Snake Way. The first person to ever make the endeavor in over 10 million years since King Enma made the trip across to train under Kaio all those eons ago. Regardless, it is nighttime, Gohan is starving, and he finds 2 apples and proceeds to eat it. Piccolo picked those apples and gave them to Gohan to eat. Piccolo explains that that will be the last free gesture or free act that he will ever do. It's very strange about Piccolo and his changing nature. Piccolo was a demonic offspring of Devil Emperor Piccolo, who was the evil, rejected, and incarnated of God, or the Nameless One, the original person that Kami, or God, and Devil Emperor Piccolo spring from. Yet Piccolo is now beginning to show care and remorse for others. At God's heavenly sanctuary in the upper heavens, Kami and Mr. Popo are talking and discussing about the different nature of Piccolo. Kami remarks or laments that Piccolo has had some good spawned into him. His interactions with Son Goku at the tournament and his subsequent encounters with Gohan has exposed him to the better nature of man, and has therefore began to alter his nature as a Mashoku yokai demon. Originally, if you remember, Korin told Goku that if he did not have God restore the Dragon Balls or reset the Dragon Balls, that after a year, it would be impossible to resurrect anyone killed by Devil Emperor Piccolo or the Demon Clan, and as a result, they would wander in limbo for all eternity. However, when Piccolo killed Goku and Raditz, both of them went directly to the afterlife, which shows that Piccolo is no longer a full demon, but instead has morphed into something else, something of a conflicted nature. And so, in the night under the full moon, because Goku and Gohan or Chi-Chi never slept past sunset, it is the first time that Gohan sees the full moon. And it is a bad thing. So, Kami or Mr. Popo or Roshi or someone else used the Dragon Balls in the 5 years between the 23rd Greatest Under the Heavens Martial Arts Tournament and the Saiyan arc to bring back the moon after it was destroyed by Jackie Chun. Regardless, Gohan sees the full moon and transforms into a great ape, a savage great ape Ozaru. And as such, his true power as a half Saiyan begins to be shown. Ozaru Gohan rushes down the cliff, and with his great ape Ozaru fist, pounds the entire mountainside down into rubble, then fires a Kai blast, an Ozaru mouth blast, that causes a giant hydrogen bomb explosion. And he does it multiple times. He even tries to hit Piccolo. Piccolo is absolutely, utterly struck in awe at the power of this half Saiyan Ozaru, and realizes that if the Saiyans were to see the full moon, they would transform into Ozarus and cause great destruction and devastation to the earth. So Piccolo fires a beam that destroys the moon. With hardly no effort, the moon is destroyed. Gohan reverts back to his base half Saiyan form, falls asleep. Piccolo removes his Saiyan tail and destroys it, then creates and generates a new set of clothing that is like his father's, also with a heavy-weighted dogi. But Piccolo puts the kanji of devil or demon on the back of Gohan's upper dogi to signify that Son Gohan is now a student of the demon clan. He also gives Gohan a sword until he can develop the utility of his ki enough to not require it. And so Piccolo flies away to begin his training, and Gohan does his survival training. On Master Roshi's island, Bulma fixes and repairs Raditz's Saiyan Scouter and uses it to detect the power levels of Roshi and Krillin, as well as Turtle. And that is how we find out that Krillin, or Kuririn, is now even stronger than the mutant Roshi. The mutant Roshi has a power level of 146. Kuririn has a power level of about 190. Anyways, Yajirobe shows up and tells them, Krillin remembers Yajirobe from the tournament, and he tells them to wait for 1 year to resurrect or revive Goku, as he is getting special training from a very special and super strong individual. But he doesn't tell them who it is. So, this is actually the first time that the mutant Roshi and the others find out about Kaio-sama. Chi-Chi and Goemao show up. This is the first time that Chi-Chi has appeared since the 23rd Greatest Under the Heavens tournament, and the first time that we have ever seen Goemao in the mangaka since the first Dragon Ball hunt, when Roshi destroyed Mount Frypan or Mount Piazu with a Kamehameha, and when Goku first learned of the Kamehameha. Regardless, they tell Chi-Chi and Goemao that Gohan has been taken by Devil Emperor Piccolo or Piccolo Daimao, and Goku is dead, and of course Chi-Chi passes out. Chi-Chi eventually comes to, and they explain everything that happened with Raditz and with the other Saiyans, And of course, I imagine she is not at all pleased. By the way, in the manga and not the anime, you never see Goku and Chi-Chi's house until the end of the Frieza arc. Even though their house appears in the first episode of Dragon Ball Z, it's never shown in the manga until considerably later, like in the Cell arc. Anyways, Goku passes out and falls asleep on the Snake Way. Gohan also sleeps inside a cave under a thunderstorm or under rain or something. Meanwhile, at God's heavenly sanctuary, the temple above the clouds, Ten Shen Han, Yamcha, Chaozu, Kuririn, and Yajirobe, the martial artists from the last three greatest under the heavens martial arts tournaments, have all gathered at Kami's sanctuary, or Kami's palace. Yamcha, Ten Shen Han, Chaozu, and Krillin are in their martial arts dogi, and they have begun their special training under God, or Kami. As they proceed to train, Kami explains that he will train them as best as he can with Mr. Popo to prepare them for the coming fight with the Saiyans when they arrive on planet Earth. And so, the great training of everyone is underway. And before long, 6 months have already passed. All of the anime filler with Gohan meeting the robot and Gohan running into a dinosaur or having a pet dinosaur, Goku going to hell, or Goku meeting Princess Serpent, or Vegeta and Nappa on planet Arlia, all of that stuff is not in the manga. All of the Saiyan filler, Gohan meeting the orphans, all of that is not in. That's all filler. That's anime filler that Toei did, that Toei added on. None of that stuff is in the manga. None of those things are in the manga. 6 months pass. Gohan is having a Tyrannosaurus Rex chasing him, and Gohan is having a fun time outrunning the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He kicks the Tyrannosaurus Rex down, uses his sword that Piccolo gave him to cut off a slice of his tail, uses a Kai blast to cook it, and proceeds to eat it. Son Gohan has survived for the last 6 months. And finally, at the end, Piccolo returns and proceeds to train Son Gohan, the legacy and successor of Son Goku. And so, Piccolo and Gohan's training gets underway. In the middle of the day, high up atop of giant cliffs, we see Gohan rushing in and attacking and fighting as Piccolo proceeds to beat the crap out of him. Gohan complains that the training is too hard, so Piccolo fires eye lasers and zaps Gohan and burns him up. Gohan and Piccolo do very extensive training, martial arts training, in the Demon Clan manner of martial arts training, as Piccolo and Gohan exchange punches and kicks and Kai blasts and practice their training to fight the Saiyans. In the other world on Snake Way, Son Goku arrives at the end of the Serpentine Road, only to find nothing. Absolutely nothing after spending 7 months crossing 10 billion kilometers of Snake Way. But then Goku sees a small planet, a small world, and flies there and is immediately overstrucken by the heavy gravity of the small planet. There is a house and a kind of old sort of 1960s car on the planet. Goku is not even able to lift himself up. The gravity is so heavy on the planet. Then Goku finds Kaio, a brown hairy monkey that jumps up and down, eats bananas and fruits, and Goku proceeds to begin his training under Kaio, only to then run into a short, somewhat kind of fat, blue guy with no nose. A guy with long antennas that has the face of a fish, that wears sunglasses, and on the front of his shirt has a kanji that says Kaio, or Super God, Cosmic or Cosmic God, or Cosmic Deity, God of Heaven and Earth, or just Heaven and Earth kanji. This entity, this person, is in fact the God of the universe, the upper and lower realms, the living world and the other world, Kaio-sama. Goku is absolutely pleased to run into Kaio, but Kaio is still stuck in trying to figure out how to write good punchlines for jokes. He has been alone on his world for countless eons, billions upon billions of mortal years in the other world. This is Goku's new martial arts master or tutor. Goku wants to proceed to train under Kaio, and Kaio decides that he will take him in as his student and train Son Goku. And so, as the first test of Goku's skills and discipline, Kaio has Goku say a bunch of really bad and terrible one-liners that are not funny. So Kaio tells Goku to leave and not come back. Suddenly, Goku begins to laugh and to gag and come up with the funniest jokes that he can. Eventually, after a lot of effort, he does finally get Kaio to laugh at his stupid one-line jokes. Kaio explains that Goku has his work cut out for him, and it will take him several hundred years to become an excellent comedian, slapstick comedian, and gag manga artist like him. However, Goku explains that that is not his reason for coming to Kaio-sama, and that he wants to train in the way of martial arts to defeat the Saiyans on their way to Earth. Kaio explains that he will try his best to help him. So Kaio reads Son Goku's mind and is quite shocked and devastated and says that there might be little but to no but only faint hope for the Earth to survive the onslaught of the Saiyans when they invade the planet. So Kaio explains that Goku will have to train very hard and very brutally on his heavy gravity planet in order to beat the Saiyans, because as it turns out, both Saiyans are even more powerful than the God of the universe, Kaio himself, is, which means to defeat the Saiyans, Goku will have to surpass Kaio in strength. Kaio explains that there are 93 days before the Saiyans arrive on planet Earth in the world of the living mortal. Kaio explains that if Goku trains hard enough on his planet, which has 10 times the gravity of Earth, in just 48 days or 49 days or 79 days, he should be able to surpass him if he proves his worth. Kaio also explains that the gravity on his planet is exactly the same as the gravity on planet Vegeta, the Saiyan home world. So Kaio has Goku jump up as high as he can. Goku does so, but with great struggle. And Kaio explains that Goku has a lot of potential, but he will have to train brutally and ferociously hard to become as strong or on par with the Saiyans. So Goku trains by chasing after Bubbles, Kaio's pet monkey, or Bubs or Bubbles. And Goku has the greatest and most horrible effort of even remotely getting close to doing it. Goku takes off his heavy-weighted dogi that he got when he trained under Kami, but Kaio forces him to put it back on and to go all out as much as he can. The days go by. The weeks go by. There is lots of effort, but in due course of time, Goku gets stronger and faster and more durable and finally catches Bubs or Bubbles from the sector. Oh, I mean Bubbles the monkey. So Goku does catch Bubbles, and Kaio proceeds to teach Goku the legendary and mysterious way of the Kaioken. What is the Kaioken? By the way, Gregory was something that Toei added in. There's no Gregory in the manga. Anyways, Goku proceeds to do his real, actual training under Kaio, the god of heaven and earth and the universe, as he learns the way of the Kaioken. Days and weeks pass by. Finally, in the heavenly sanctuary, Kami, or the god of earth, and Mr. Popo congratulate Chaozu, Yajirobe, Ten Shinhan, Yamcha, and Kurlin on completing their training. There is only a week before the Saiyans arrive. Kami has them go to different quadrants of the Earth to wait to see where the Saiyans will crash land on the planet. Everyone is counting and hoping on Goku to be the savior of the world once again, as Goku dons the mantle of Superman with his new extraterrestrial origins, and the story continues. High up in the mountains, 1 year since the defeat of Raditz has almost gone by. Gohan continues his brutal training and becomes a lot stronger. Gohan now wears a purple doji, a sleeveless purple shirt with pants and shoes that are exactly like Piccolo's. Piccolo's nature has greatly changed in the last year. He has become a much more gooder and better person who cares for others. Gohan has become a stronger and tougher warrior. Regardless, in the other world, on Kaio-sama's world, Goku brutally takes on and fights with Kaio to learn the Kaioken. Finally, on the last day, 1 day before the Saiyans arrive, Goku learns the Genki Dama, the way of Genki. Genki is Son Goku gathers the life energy of Kaio's entire planet. All of the trees, the animals, and the life forms, Goku borrows a parcel of their life energy, gathers it into himself, generates a ball, the Genki Dama, and throws it at a flying brick that blows up and causes an enormous explosion with tremendous force of power. The Genki Dama is no ordinary Kai blast. It is a multifaceted, life-incinerating blast that destroys evil, any sort or form of true evil. Kaio tells Goku to be very careful when using the Genki Dama. He explains that with all of the diverse amount of life on Earth, that he can gather the Genki energy into the Genki Dama, as well as from the sun, it will create a much more powerful and stronger Genki Dama. Goku will have to remember to empty his mind and to focus and concentrate on his inner Zen, to really control and manipulate the power of the Genki Dama. However, Kaio, the god of the universe, is shocked that he miscalculated on when the Saiyans would arrive, and it is actually 11 months when they would arrive. Therefore, with Kaio's help, Goku telepathically contacts the mutant Roshi and gets him to gather the Dragon Balls. They've already gathered the Dragon Balls. There's no Dragon Ball hunt. So they get the Dragon Balls and they summon the Dragon God Shenlong, who begins to grant them whatever wish that thy heart surely most desirest. Oolong wishes for Shenlong to destroy the Saiyans by blowing up their space pods in mid-space, or in the middle of space. But Shenron explains that he cannot grant that wish, because he was created by Kami-sama, and the two Saiyans are far stronger than Kami, and because of that, he cannot grant a wish that is beyond the grasp of his power, or Kami-sama's power. And so, the mutant Roshi wishes for Son Goku to be reanimated and brought back to life. This, the dragon god Shenlong doth grants. And so, the halo that levitates over Goku's head dissipates and disappears. Unlike before with previous resurrections, Goku is not brought back on Earth or in the mortal realm. He is brought back to life on Kaio's world, which means that Goku will have to go back across Snake Way. Kaio, using his telepathy, regenerates and creates a new Dogi, or fighting Dogi, for Goku that has Kaio's Heaven and Earth cosmic kanji on the back. And Goku no longer wears heavy-weighted Dogi, but instead wears something that is lighter than a feather. Something that he will need in order to fight the Saiyans. It will take Goku 2 days to run back. It will take Goku 2 days to run back across the Snake Way. Goku flies off the planet, lands back on Snake Way, and fires up and powers up in a Kai flight, or power flight, and rushes back across Snake Way. In outer space, the next day, the two elite Saiyan warriors crash land on planet Earth. The day of reckoning has arrived. Two Saiyan attack balls crash in the middle of central metropolis. One of them kills a few bystanders and damages a vehicle as they both crash into a bypass or a highway. The people are absolutely stupefied and aghasted at what they're seeing, and wonder what exactly could be going on. The doors to the pods open up, the two Saiyan warriors emerge, and the people of Earth, looking at these two men from another world, two extraterrestrials, watch. It is the last thing that they will ever see. Nappa lifts his fingers up and creates a gigantic Kai explosion that destroys Central Metro. All of Central Metropolis is destroyed. All of the people there die, and it leaves a gigantic crater that can be seen from space. A giant explosion of the scale that wiped out the dinosaurs 76 million years ago is thrown into the wind. A giant explosion from Central Metropolis engulfs the entire planet in dust, wind, and Ki has an explosion the size of what wiped out the dinosaurs, destroys and blows up a small but sizable chunk of the Earth. Vegeta comments to Nappa that that was a very foolish thing to do. Vegeta explains to Nappa that what if one of the Dragon Balls was there at the location that they just blew up? In other words, they would not be able to use the Dragon Balls for their wish for immortality. Nappa explains that he will try to think more about it in the future. Vegeta is truly amazed at how much life and how much good real estate the Earth has to provide the Saiyans. So, using their scouters, they find out that there is about half a dozen power levels that are above 1,000. Vegeta explains that Kakarot's friends have been training and preparing for their arrival. And so, they spot out the highest power level scouting or reading, and they go to that location, which so happens to be Piccolo. They want to use Piccolo to find the Dragon Balls. And so, the battle of the century, the battle for the defense of Earth, is underway. So, I think that the Saiyan arc is kind of a leveling arc. It is an arc that levels and humbles all of the martial artists that came in the previous arcs. The Saiyan arc is the age of the aliens. It is the age when Akira Toriyama begins to explore a much more in-depth and much more serious sci-fi based, science fiction and sci-fi based novelty. Toriyama is combining elements that he appropriated from Journey to the West and Star Trek and Star Wars. In the 1980s, when Dragon Ball was being drawn, Star Wars was all the rage, even in Japan. the three original Star Wars trilogy, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi, were all highly acclaimed and very popular in Japan. And there's no doubt that Toriyama definitely took in inspiration from it. The second Superman movie, or the third Superman movie, was actually the inspiration, the 1982 Superman movie, where Kryptonians are broken out of the ether, or the entrapped ether in space. These criminal Kryptonites come to Earth. They gain superpowers from the Earth's yellow light, and Superman has to fight them and put a stop to them. The Star Wars trilogy and the Superman movies in the 80s are the inspiration for the Saiyan arc. There's no doubt about it that the Superman 80s movies was the inspiration or the inspiring factor for the Saiyan arc. Anyways, we're going into a much more serious, a much more deeper and lore-driven science fiction plot, basically, with this. So, Nappa and Vegeta go to where Piccolo and Gohan are at. Regardless, Krillin arrives first, then Nappa and Vegeta show up. They land, and they use their scouters to read their power levels. Vegeta explains that they have the ability to use their ki or their kai to manipulate, that is, to disguise and hide their power level readings. And so, Nappa and Vegeta take off their scouters. They decide that since they are about as strong as Raditz was, and by the way, they call Raditz a weakling. They refer to Raditz as a complete wimp, an absolute sissy and wimp who is beaten way too easily by a low-class Saiyan like Kakarot. And so, they're excited and hoping for Kakarot to return since he's been brought back to life. And yet, Kakarot is nowhere to be seen. Anyways, Nappa takes the seedlings of Sai-Bai men, puts them into the ground, and pours liquid. Sai-Bai men are entities or creatures. They are very powerful, but are completely mindless. And so, the lore with the Sai-Bai men is they are tiny aliens that are very strong. Sai-Bai men are from planet Saiba. The Saiyans enslaved them and utilized them and genetically altered them and basically used them as extra soldiers. Whenever there are too few Saiyans to carry out heavy work or heavy-duty fighting, they will bring the Sai-Bai men with them and grow them out of the ground like plants or Plantian entities to use them as extra fighters. So, Nappa grows out 6 remaining Sai-Bai men, and they proceed to use them to fight the others. Ten Shenhan and Chaozu finally show up, together with Yamcha, and the fighting finally gets underway. Now, in the anime, they have like a camera crewman and like a news bulletin, news reporters and stuff reporting the events. None of that stuff happens in the mangaka. None of that is in the manga. So, Ten Shenhan fights the Sai-Bai men, and using the power of his Ki-Ha or Ki-Ya, he proceeds to overpower and crush the Sai-Bai men. The unimpressed Vegeta kills the Sai-Bai men with a finger laser beam, or a Kai laser, saying that the Sai-Bai man was too weak to be kept alive, and had to die the death of a coward. And so, Yamcha steps up and fights the next Saiyan man, and Yamcha fights very impressively. Gohan has a lot of trouble sensing Yamcha's ki and is unable to keep up with Yamcha's movements. So, you could really say that this is Yamcha's last hurrah. Yamcha has a character, has been in this mangaka since almost the beginning of Dragon Ball. You will recall that I have talked a lot about Yamcha's growth ever since I went over and talked about the legend of Shenlong Arc. Yamcha, as a martial artist, he has grown extensively. Yamcha was originally a desert bandit. He fought Goku a few times, and he went with Bulma and the others to find the Dragon Balls. Yamcha has been there from the beginning. Yamcha was there in the Red Ribbon Army arc. He was there in all 3 of the tournaments, and he was there in the Devil Emperor Piccolo arc. He was pretty badly defeated and humiliated in the tournament against Chen, but for the first time in Dragon Ball, Yamcha is not going to be around pretty much for none of the next arc. In fact, Yamcha has a person and a character is pretty much thrown out in this fight. So Yamcha punches and kicks and exchanges blows with the Saiyan and fires a Kamehameha and entraps and fires a Kamehameha on the Saiyan man and apparently kills him. He kills the Saiyan man. But with his guard down, Vegeta grins. The Saiyan man grip locks Yamcha and self-explodes. It blows up. Saiyan men can also shoot acid out of the tops of their heads, too. And the acid can burn through almost anything. It almost hits Gohan. So the Saiyan men grip locks Yamcha and blows up. The Saiyan man dies, and Yamcha also dies as well. This is the end of Yamcha has a character of note in Dragon Ball. Yes, Yamcha will come back after the Saiyan arc, but his importance is gone for good. So, if you ever want to wonder why it is that I never talk about Yamcha or say anything about him after this, it's because he's insignificant. So, Yamcha dies, the Saiyan dies as it self-explodes. Chaosu is going to do this later, by the way. Krillin is very grief-stricken. So is Chaosu and Ten Shenhan. They are completely grief-stricken at the death of Yamcha. But Kurulin explains that Yamcha has not died before and can be brought back to life with the Dragon Balls. But this is not the end. In fact, the lament of Yamcha's death is only the beginning of their greatest nightmare. And so Kurulin decides to fight all 5 of the remaining Saiyan men, and Krillin uses this new technique that he learned training under Kami, or God, in which he fires a multiple-faceted set of Kai blasts. It's kind of like the two Kai blasts that he blasted on Demon Jr. at the tournament. But this time he fires one giant Kai beam that breaks up into like 6 different Kai beams. They hit all of the Sai-Bai men simultaneously, killing them. He misses one Sai-Bai men, and then he hits the 2 Saiyans with what he has left, with this multifaceted, multi-beam Kai blast, or multiple Kai blast attack. It seems as if, as the dust begins to settle, that the fight is over. But it is not. The last Sai-Bai man comes out of a rock and tries to attack Gohan. Piccolo grabs it, throws it, punches it in the face, throws it in the air, fires a mouth blast that incinerates it to the very bone. And that is the end of the 6 Sai-Bai men. But the 2 Saiyans are very much alive and are very much present and have been completely uncensored by Kuyorin's attack. This fight has only begun. Finally, Nappa realizes that Piccolo must be a Namekian or Namekian. Finally, Vegeta begins to realize and put everything together and realizes that the stories and the legends... Vegeta realizes that the story of the legends that they heard over the years from their various travels and journeys onto other planets and star systems about the Namekians and the strange magical abilities of the Namekians are in fact true, and they were not just a fable that they heard long, long ago. It turns out that Namekians are space aliens. The Namekians are space aliens from planet Namek. They are a species or a race with unique abilities. One of these abilities is to create and make 7 Dragon Balls. And it turns out that Piccolo looks exactly like one of them. So, as it turns out, Kami, the god of Earth, is, in fact, a Namekian. Kami had lost his memory of his alien or extraterrestrial origins. But Kami points out or talks to Mr. Popo in the heavenly sanctuary at his palace that his ability, his unique magical abilities, such as his ability to draw out the incarnate evil from his body, the nameless Namekian's ability to draw out the unnecessary incarnate evil and separate or split himself into a good and an evil counterpart, and his ability, his mystical ability to create the Dragon Balls and the Dragon Shenlong was in fact directly connected with his alien heritage. Kami is truly astounded. He is also astounded by Piccolo's care. He is also astounded by Piccolo's sudden care for others. Never before has Devil Emperor Piccolo ever cared for another living soul. But Piccolo has changed. Regardless, Piccolo is quite surprised to find out his Namekian origins from planet Namek. And so the fight continues. The brutal, insane battle with the Saiyans continues forth. And so Nappa powers up and charges his Kai tremendously. An aura of lightning, bolts of electricity and lightning encircle his entire body. Nappa rushes towards Ten Shinhan and chops off his hand in one blow. Nappa rushes towards Ten Shinhan and karate chops off his hand. Ten Shinhan is now mortally wounded and is screaming in agonizing pain. Then Nappa flies up and fires a Kai blast at Kuyurin, causing a giant explosion that leaves a bottomless hole, a giant deep hole in the ground that is very long. Then Chao Zu. So I want to talk a bit about the character of Chao Zu, or Chao Su. Chao Su has been around since the 22nd greatest under the heavens martial arts tournament, the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. I don't really have much to really say about Chao Su, but Chao Su has had special psychic and telekinetic powers. Chao Su was trained under the Crane Hermit. He participated in the tournament fighting against Krillin in the quarterfinals, and he has always been best friends with Ten Shinhan. Chao Su was killed by Devil Emperor Piccolo, was brought back at the end of the Devil Emperor Piccolo with the Dragon Balls, and did not fight in the 23rd Budokai. Now, Chao Su grabs Nappa in the back and proceeds to self-destruct. Chao Su mind reads or telepathically contacts Ten Shinhan and tells him goodbye. Ten Shinhan tells Chao Su that if he dies again, he cannot be resurrected a second time. But Chao Su decides that he will take one for the team. Chao Su, copying the Sai-Bai man, self-destructs and blows himself up. Chao Su dies a second time. For a second time in Dragon Ball, Chao Su dies and blows up. But Nappa survives and is completely uncindered. Now 2 of the Z fighters are gone. And this time, there is no way to bring Chao Zu back to life. Krillin begs and hopes for Goku to arrive soon. To arrive as soon as he can. Goku, at full maximum speed, rushes off across Snake Way in Otherworld, trying to get back in less than a remaining day. And so the battle continues. Piccolo and Kuyurin jump up or fly up into the air and fight Nappa as best as they can. They exchange multiple blows, punches, kicks, grip locks, wrestling moves, all sorts of things as they try to fight with everything they have against Nappa. But Nappa easily overpowers them. Then, as Nappa is flying down, Kuyurin fires a Kamehameha or a Kai blast. Piccolo fires a Demon Masenko blast at Nappa, and they try to get Gohan to attack him, but Gohan runs off and is too scared. The 2 Kai blasts miss Nappa and explode. Then Ten Shinhan, with everything he has, as he says goodbye to the dead Chao Su. In Ten Shinhan's mind, we see the memories of him and Chao Zu when they first arrived at the tournament. All the battles, all of the friends and all of the hopes and dreams and memories that Ten Shinhan had with Chaosu. I want to talk a bit about Ten Shinhan. So, Ten Shinhan appeared in the 22nd Greatest Under the Heavens Martial Arts Tournament. Ten Shinhan was a student of the Crane Hermit, a rival martial arts school to the Mutant Roshi. Ten Shinhan had already trained vigorously for the 3 years after Goku defeated the Red Ribbon Army. Ten Shinhan was very strong. In the finals, Ten Shinhan defeated and overcame Yamcha. In the quarterfinals, he defeated the Mutant Roshi. Ten Shinhan literally defeated Master Roshi in the semifinals, the champion of the previous tournament. And then Ten Shinhan, together with Son Goku, fought in the finals and did very well. Ten Shinhan won the tournament, but his fight with Devil Emperor Piccolo was to no avail. Ten Shinhan tried to use the Mafuba on Piccolo but failed, and it was Goku who ultimately saved the world. But Ten Shinhan did help in that regard. In the 23rd Greatest Under the Heavens Martial Arts Tournament, Ten Shinhan defeated cyborg mercenary Tao Pai Pai and betrayed the Crane Hermit School. Then in the semi-finals, Ten Shinhan fought with Goku once again. This time, Goku defeated him. Ten Shinhan is probably the strongest human or the strongest non-extraterrestrial on Earth, or the strongest fighter or martial artist that has no extraterrestrial origin. Ten Shinhan is a great martial artist and a great fighter, but when Ten Shinhan runs up against the Saiyan Nappa, he is no match for Nappa. As Ten Shinhan laments the passing of Chaosu, he fires an extra strength Kiko Ho attack. Now, Ten Shinhan used the Kaiko Ho against Goku in the finals of the 22nd Greatest Under the Heavens tournament to destroy the entire ring. Ten Shinhan knows that this is a very brutal and deadly technique that the Crane Hermit taught him. But Ten Shinhan uses it anyways. He uses the extra strength Kaiko Ho on Nappa, and as a result of using it, he passes out and dies from exhaustion. Having used up all of his ki, Ten Shinhan dies. Ten Shinhan is gone. He's dead. Nappa is somewhat damaged. His Saiyan plate armor is somewhat damaged, but nonetheless, Nappa survives. So Yamcha, Chaosu, and Ten Shinhan are now dead. Anyways, the fighting continues. Kuyurin and Piccolo are the only ones that can actually fight Nappa. Gohan is too scared at this point to fight Nappa. So Kuyurin and Piccolo fight and continue to exchange blows. Vegeta demands Nappa to stop the fight. Vegeta asks Kuyurin and Piccolo if Goku is Kakarot. They don't understand who exactly Kakarot is, but once they remember what Raditz said 1 year before, then they explain that Son Goku and Kakarot are indeed the same. Then Vegeta maniacally laughs as an evil villain that he is. Vegeta and Nappa laugh. They tell Piccolo, Gohan, and Kuririn that Kakarot was much more weaker than Raditz was. Even when Kakarot fought Raditz, he couldn't defeat Raditz without Piccolo's help, and Raditz was an absolute weakling. Kuririn tells Vegeta and Nappa that Goku has gone through a lot of training in the last year and is much more powerful than he was before, but the Saiyans don't believe them. In the heavenly sanctuary, Kami is concerned as he has yet to sense Goku's ki. Goku is still a great distance away from the beginning of Snake Way. Regardless, Vegeta decides to wait for 3 hours. And the 3 hours go by. Gohan is complaining about not being able to have a bath. So the 3 hours go by, and there is no sign of another power level reading on the scouter. And so the fight continues. In the heavenly sanctuary in the upper highest heavens, Kami, the god of earth, knows that his time to die is very soon. Very soon, Piccolo will die. And when Piccolo dies, so will Kami. Kami can sense Goku's enormous new ki as Goku begins to make it to the end of Snake Way a second time. And so the battle continues, or the battle and the fighting rages on. After a 3-hour doré, Nappa takes off his upper-plated Saiyan armor and proceeds to continue to fight. Piccolo has a plan to grab Nappa's Saiyan tail. When Goku was a kid, they remember that whenever they grabbed Goku's tail, it would weaken him. Whenever someone would grab Goku's tail, it would weaken him substantially. So their plan is to grab Nappa's tail. Goku did this to Raditz, and it worked. But will it work with Saiyan elites? Regardless, Kuririn rushes up to attack Nappa. At the last second, Kuririn fires 2 Kai blasts that propel him into the air. Then, with Nappa off guard, Piccolo grabs Nappa's Saiyan tail and tells Gohan to give everything he has into a Kai blast, or into firing a Kai blast with his special innate potential. But Nappa, who is completely unaffected, just as Goku was at the 22nd greatest under the heavens martial arts tournament, headbutts or elbow slams Piccolo, then kicks him and punches him into the dirt. Vegeta laughs, as does Nappa, as they explain to the Z Senshi, that will not work against them, because they have trained and meditated and mastered that tail weakness. What might have worked with Goku and Raditz will not work with Nappa and Vegeta. And so the battle continues. Kuririn tries to use his new technique that he developed training under God. Kuririn creates the Kien Zan, a disc of pure kinetic Kai energy that can cut through almost anything. Kuririn develops his Kien Zan and fires it at Nappa. Nappa tries to grab it, but Vegeta tells him to dodge it. It cuts Nappa in his left cheek and goes right through the entire cliff, causing it to capsize. In the heavenly sanctuary, Kami teleports to Inma or King Inma's check-in station. Goku arrives, Kami gets him, and teleports him back to Earth. King Inma, who also trained under Kaio, is quite impressed that Goku just made it back. Goku and Kami return to the heavenly sanctuary in the mortal world, where Goku jumps off and goes to Karen Tower. At Karen Tower, Goku has Karen give him his only 2 remaining Senzu beans. Goku eats one of them to regain his strength, then flies on Kento Un, just as he did in the Devil Emperor Piccolo arc when he left Karen Tower to fight Devil Emperor Piccolo to go and fight the Saiyans. Goku is very concerned that only 3 Kais remain, and wonders what happened to the ki of the others, which means that 3 have already died and 1 Kai is weakening substantially. Goku is really dumbfounded by how powerful the Saiyan's ki really is, as he flies there on the Kento Un. Anyways, the battle continues. Krillin fights with Nappa, as Nappa punches Kuyurin in the face, kicks him, thumps him a few times. Then Nappa begins to beat up Gohan. Finally, Nappa fires a giant Kai blast at Gohan. Hold on a second. Vegeta points out to Nappa that there is a power level of around 5,000 that is approaching them. Vegeta realizes that it must be Kakarot. He must have finally come back to life with the Dragon Balls, and he will soon arrive and fight them. Nappa has a power level of only 4,000, which means that they will have to now work together. Nappa points out that if they kill the Namekian, that will destroy the Dragon Balls. Vegeta points out that they can travel to planet Namek and use the Namekian's Dragon Balls, or the fact that there are other sets of Dragon Balls on planet Namek that they could use to wish for immortality or everlasting life, that they may forever enjoy the privilege of fighting for all eternity, as is the custom of the Saiyans. And so with that, Nappa beats and pounds Krillin into the dirt and fires a giant Kai blast at Gohan. But at the last second, Piccolo blocks it and takes it head on. There is a giant explosion and the earth itself tremors and shakes. When the dust is settled, Piccolo is mortally wounded. Goku on the Kento Un senses what is going on. In the heavenly sanctuary, Kami tells Mr. Popo goodbye. He tells Mr. Popo that they could go to Namek and use the extra Dragon Balls there to wish them back to life. Then they could use the Earth's Dragon Balls to wish the others back to life. Regardless, Piccolo breaks out in tears and cries. Gohan and Piccolo remember their various times together up in the mountains, training and fighting and preparing. Gohan had formed a very special personal relationship with Piccolo. Piccolo explains that he hopes that Gohan will stay alive for Goku to come back and protect him and to protect the Earth and all the things that he loves. I want to talk about the character of Piccolo. Piccolo was sealed away in a Denshi jar by Master Mutaito for hundreds of years. Emperor Pilaf freed Devil Emperor Piccolo. Piccolo was evil. He was a demon. He killed various martial artists with his child offspring Tambourine. He defeated and crushed Goku in their first fight. Using the Dragon Balls, Devil Emperor Piccolo restored his youth. Then he conquered and ruled the world for one day. But Goku, after a brutal fight with Devil Emperor Piccolo, defeated and killed him. However, Piccolo Daimao was reincarnated. He reincarnated himself as Piccolo Devil Jr., or as Devil Emperor Piccolo Jr. Devil Emperor Piccolo did not die in the northern capital, under the Ozaru Fist Blast. Instead, he was reincarnated into his current self. Piccolo, at the 23rd greatest Under the Heavens martial arts tournament, successfully fought against Kuyarin and easily defeated him. Then he trapped God, or Kami, in another Denshi jar, and then he fought Goku in the finals. If you remember my review of the 23rd greatest Under the Heavens martial arts tournament, that was a very brutal and very incredible fight. But despite everything and against all odds, Goku defeated Piccolo at the tournament and became the martial arts world champion. Piccolo was very overtaken by Raditz's power and strength, and couldn't even singe Raditz. Piccolo and Goku fought together to kill Raditz. Then Piccolo trained Gohan for 1 year. Finally, at long last, Piccolo, and yes, because of his exposure to Goku and Gohan, Piccolo is now the good guy. Piccolo was the villain of the last 2 arcs. Now Piccolo is a good guy, and he's dying. Piccolo laments to Gohan to go to planet Namek, his ancestral home world, and use the Namekian Dragon Balls to bring him and the others back from death. Gohan promises it. Piccolo then falls out and dies. Piccolo dies. Piccolo is dead. God, or Kami, tells Mr. Popo farewell as he disappears and vanishes into the ether and dies. Earth no longer has a god. Planet Earth no longer has a god to protect it. And there are no more Dragon Balls. The Earth's Dragon Balls are gone. Shenlong is dead. Kami is dead. Piccolo is dead. They're all dead. Gohan suddenly, crying in pain, with tears coming out of his eyes, powers up his innate potential and fires a Gohan powers up. He powers up to 3,000, jumps and kicks Nappa in the face, punches him, and kicks him down, and fires a giant Masenko Ho blast that hits Nappa. But Nappa kicks it up and it explodes. Then Gohan's special power goes down. Nappa throws Gohan on the ground and proceeds to stomp him. But at the last second, the Kento-un saves Gohan, and Goku Kakarot is floating in mid-air and flies down to visualize what has been going on. And Goku is not a happy boy. Goku is not at all happy with what's been going on at this fight. So Gohan and Kulirin have been saved. This is the last time that we will see the Kento-un until the Majin Buu arc. This is the last time we'll see the Kento Un for a long, long time in a fight. And so, Goku goes around and he looks at the bodies of his dead friends. Ten Shenhan, Yamcha, a friend of Goku since he was a little boy. A friend of Goku since he was a little boy. Piccolo. Goku is truly pissed off. Goku wants to know what happened to Chaozu. Nappa tells him that he tried to blow himself up and failed. Vegeta and Nappa mock the death of Goku's friends. They mock Kakarot as a low-class Saiyan, unworthy to even join up with them. Nappa considers Kakarot to be a traitor. Goku gives half of a Senzu bean, so Goku breaks up the Senzu bean and gives the two halves to Kuririn and Gohan. Goku powers up. The entire earth shakes. Dirt and rocks come out of the ground as the entire planet shakes to its very core under Goku's power. As Vegeta scouts out Kakarot's power level, he sees that it has gone over 8,000. Vegeta, furious and angry, tears off his Saiyan scouter and yells, "It's over 8,000," as he destroys his own scouter with his bare, savage hands. Finally, the battle begins. Nappa tries to grab Goku, but before he even knows it, Goku is standing on top of his head. Nappa then tries to grab Goku from above, but Goku punches him in the stomach. And so the fight between Son Goku and Nappa enrages on, as Nappa goes all out at full power as he tries to fight the legendary Son Goku. Son Goku punches and kicks and fights and overpowers Nappa and kicks Nappa into a pile of rocks. An enraged and insulted Vegeta yells at Nappa and tells him to get his ass up and get back into it. So Nappa gets up and fights and proceeds to go all out. Nappa punches and kicks and throws hits and kicks at Goku, and Goku very easily dodges it. Then Goku from behind kicks Nappa, throws him into the air, somersault punches him. Finally, Nappa, who is completely angry, starts to miss Kakarot, or Goku, and is unable to really fight him in the long run. Nappa then becomes more serious, gets his concentration back, powers up his Power Saiyan aura, throws his fingers up, and creates a power beam or a Kai beam that flies up from below the ground and creates a giant explosion. Then Nappa fires a Kai blast at Goku that causes an even larger and more powerful explosion. None of it singes Goku or Kakarot. So they go into the air and they continue to fight. Finally, the force of their power creates a power or incensement of ki that incinerates both of them. It causes a giant explosion that shakes the earth. Then Nappa fires a mouth blast out of his mouth. Goku fires a Kamehameha. It hits and it causes an explosion. Vegeta calls Nappa off from fighting with Kakarot and decides that he will himself fight with Kakarot, the traitor to the Saiyan warrior blood. Nappa then tries to attack Kuririn and Gohan, Goku tries to fly down and stop Nappa, but he's too slow. So, at the last moment, Goku yells, Kaioken! His hair, his eyes, his mouth turn red. They turn magenta red. A magenta red aura of flame incinerates Goku as he flies off in a fireball, punches, kicks, and overpowers Nappa with the Kaioken and knocks him on the ground. Kuririn and Gohan are amazed at the power of the way of the Kaioken. Goku explains that the Kaioken is one of the greatest secret abilities of Kaio that Kaio taught him. It multiplies your power, your strength, your speed, and your durability multiple times over and blows up your power level tremendously. But it requires the utmost concentration and meditation and inner state of Zen. Otherwise, it would destroy your body. So, Goku can only use the Kaioken for a very limited time. Nappa begs for Vegeta to pick him up. Goku tells Vegeta to take his wounded comrade and leave the Earth and never return. Vegeta throws Nappa into the air, powers up, and fires a purple Kai blast that kills Nappa. Nappa screams, Vegeta! As he is utterly destroyed and incinerated in the giant explosion that covers right through the ground. Goku is truly impressed with how powerful Vegeta really is. He truly is a Saiyan super elite, the most powerful of all the Saiyans, and according to Vegeta's own words, the strongest warrior in the universe. So Nappa is dead. Nappa is gone. Goku, Kuririn, and Gohan are floating in the air. Goku finds out that because Piccolo is now dead, so is Kami, and the Dragon Balls are gone. But Kuririn explains that there might be a way yet to save them. Goku doesn't really understand, of course. So anyways, Kuririn explains that there might be a way to resurrect the others, but Kuririn will explain later. So, Son Goku has Kuririn and Son Gohan return to the Kami house, and that's what they do. Gohan and Kuririn fly to Kami house, and Goku and Vegeta fly to an uninhabited desert. And so Goku and Vegeta power up and go into power flight, in which their ki encircles them as they go through a Superman-style power flight or super flight, a Superman power flight or super flight, or Kai flight, as they fly way up into the mountains. They fly up into snow-peaked mountains. Vegeta comments on how profitable selling the Earth once all of its inhabitants are extinct. How profitable the cells of the planet will be. Now, you have to remember, Goku is a Saiyan, and Saiyans love to fight. Saiyans love to do battle. Goku is no different than Vegeta. He loves to fight, and he loves the bloody challenge that it brings. So, Vegeta and Goku, or Kakarot, fly out into the desert around a bunch of cliffs where nobody is around. Of course, Yajirobe is also out there looking around and spotting out what's going on. So, Vegeta explains to Kakarot that this Earth is full of low-class, inferior beings. He explains that Saiyans are the greatest warriors in all the universe, and they are truly prided and unmatched and undefeated. When it comes to planets with strong fighters, elites like himself, Vegeta, go out to conquer those worlds. But with worlds like the Earth with weak inhabitants, they send their babies, their infants, to those worlds to conquer them. Vegeta explains that Kakarot is a low-class, low-hanging fruit piece of trash, and that he is a traitor to all of the Saiyans, and that he is undeserving to be a Saiyan, to live as a Saiyan, to learn and experience the love of fighting that a Saiyan could truly understand and respect. In Vegeta's eyes, it doesn't matter how much Goku has improved in the last year. He will always be a commoner and a reject of his own people. Goku explains that his name is not Kakarot, but it is Son Goku. And regardless of his birth and heritage and origins, he is a man of Earth. The Earth is his home. This is his home world, and it is on the Earth that he will take his last stand to protect his adopted world against the intrusion of the evil Saiyans. And with that, Goku and Vegeta begin their epic Saiyan duel to the brutal end. So Goku jumps off and tries to punch Vegeta and misses. Then he kicks Vegeta, and they exchange and do multiple blows and multiple attacks. However, the tables turn as Vegeta blocks and kicks Goku, but Goku punches and kicks Vegeta. It seems that Goku is overpowered by the Super Elite's power and talent. Goku then does some flips, powers up his Kai aura, and goes back and exchanges multiple punches and blows with Vegeta. Again, it seems that they are evenly matched. Finally, Vegeta asks Kakarot if he can use that Kaioken again. If he could use the power of the way of the Kaioken, of the heaven and earth cosmic Kaioken. Goku does so. Goku powers up and is inflamed in a red aura, in a fireball, the Kaioken, and goes all out at Vegeta. It seems that Goku is able to overpower Vegeta. He punches him, overpowers him, kicks him, but at the last moment, he misses Vegeta, and Vegeta somersault punches Kakarot into the ground. Goku is already beginning to break out in sweat. He is already beginning to lose strength. Kaio, in Otherworld, is watching the fight against the Saiyan, and Kaio is really concerned that Goku might overdo the Kaioken. And so, The battle continues. Vegeta rushes off and lunges at Goku. He double punches him. He beats him into the ground and pounds him into a pile of rocks. Then, Vegeta flies up into the air, and he begins to really power up his Kai, or his ki. A thunderstorm or a hurricane covers over the heavens. The earth shakes. Goku says that the entire planet is shaking, and he is right. The entire planet Earth shakes to its very core. Its very foundations, as an earthquake roars and trembles and shakes. A thunderstorm claps and crisps, as lightning and thunderbolts rage. Then Vegeta does a Ki-Ya, and it causes a giant bolt of light to go out. The power and the force from Vegeta forces all of the clouds back into the distant horizon. Goku knows that he has a truly tough and powerful opponent to fight. And so the battle continues. Goku then says twofold Kaioken. A twofold Kaioken. As he powers up, Goku remembers that when he was finishing his training with Kaio, that Kaio warned Goku that the Kaioken is a very powerful, very fast, and brutal attack. But it takes out a lot of your body's stamina. It takes out a lot of strength at the price of your stamina being lost. Kaio explains to Goku that at his rate, or at his level of preparation, when fighting the Saiyans, it is preferable to, at most, only use the Kaioken when absolutely necessary. And even more so, the twofold Kaioken, and to never go above the twofold Kaioken. Goku promises Kaio that he will not do so. At Mutant Roshi's island, the Mutant Roshi with Chi-Chi, Gaimao, Bulma, and Oolong are there together. Bulma is using Raditz's Saiyan Scouter, and she detects two gigantic power levels. One is about 18,000, and the other is around 16,000. Bulma uses the Saiyan Scouter to read out the power levels of Goku and Vegeta. Kuririn and Gohan continue to fly to the Kami house. At any rate, Yajirobe is also watching the fight, but behind a cliff and from a good distance, but still at a good vantage point. Regardless, Goku uses the twofold Kaioken way as he again incinerates in a double fireball blast. Goku rushes off to Vegeta, but Vegeta easily dodges him. Then Vegeta fires a Kai blast that Goku dodges, but Vegeta somersault punches Goku. Then, as Goku flies up, Vegeta fires another Kai blast that barely misses him. However, his Kaio Dogi is severely damaged in the attack. Goku stops using the twofold Kaioken and flies down. Vegeta mocks and laments at Goku, saying that if this is truly the best that he has, then he will be beaten. Vegeta is far above Goku at everything. He is a higher class warrior, a better fighter, and just of pure noble blood. And Vegeta is truly noble born, and Kakarot is pure rejected trash. After much thinking and taking a giant risk to himself, Goku decides to use the threefold Kaioken. So, Goku powers up the threefold Kaioken, and the dust and the wind blow like a hurricane. Goku lunges out and uses the Kia that destroys the cliff under Vegeta. As Vegeta falls, Goku rushes up and punches Vegeta in the gut, then kicks him. But Vegeta, angry and furious, fights back brutally. Vegeta will not be taken out by a low-class warrior and a piece of earthling trash. And so the two enragingly fight in a brutal, epic, savage barbarian duel to the bitter end. This is actually, I think this is one of the best fights ever in Dragon Ball. Truly one of the most legendary fights ever in Dragon Ball. So, Goku or Kakarot and Vegeta continue their fight. Goku, with the threefold Kaioken attack, pounds Vegeta into the ground. Vegeta fights back as he powers up. So, Goku and Vegeta do several flips and they lunge and jump. Vegeta dodges Goku's attacks. At first, Vegeta takes direct hits from the Kaioken Son Goku. Goku punches, he kicks, he double flips, he kicks. He throws Vegeta into the rocks. Vegeta comes out. He comes back, but Goku double kicks Vegeta. He throws him into the ground, throws him into the air, and they continue to fight. Goku, Son Goku, and Vegeta continue to exchange in multiple blows and attacks. At first, Goku does direct hits. Finally, Vegeta starts jumping back and flipping back to dodge the attacks, then to make a counterattack. Vegeta then powers a ki into his fist and tries to throw it and punch it at Goku as a counter, but Goku grabs it. Using wrestling moves, Goku grapples Vegeta, slams him, kicks him up into the air, somersault punches him right into the mountainside. An enraged, furious Vegeta blows up the entire cliff and lunges up and rushes at Goku. Vegeta almost successfully makes some counterattack moves, but it is to no avail. Goku powers up even more into the Kaioken power, and using both his Saiyan and Kaioken powers, Goku lunges and rushes at Vegeta. Vegeta tries to put up his guard as he uses defensive punches and kicks and grappling, but Goku karate chops Vegeta in the face, somersault punches him, lunges him up, grapples him, throws him into the cliffside, causing it to throw down, throws him into the cliffside, causing it to fall to the ground, kicks him into the air, then double kicks Vegeta, causing him to fall and landslide into a bunch of cliffs. Vegeta comes back, but he doesn't even touch Goku. No. Vegeta cannot touch Goku. Vegeta is no match for the threefold Kaioken Son Goku, as Goku beats the crap and knocks him onto a high cliff. Vegeta is beginning to break in sweat. Mad and enraged, Vegeta actually notices that he is bleeding. Yes, Vegeta is bleeding, and he freaks out. And just like with General Blue, Vegeta yells and mocks Kakarot and says, "How dare you? How dare you cause my noble blood to fall upon you? How dare you touch my Saiyan noble blood? How dare you, the mighty Vegeta, the greatest warrior in the universe, be overpowered by this weakling?" And so, Vegeta powers up and goes high up into the air and powers up his greatest attack, the Gallic Gun. Vegeta laughs and tells Goku, as he does his Gallic Gun pose, that not only will he destroy Kakarot, but he will blow up the Earth. The fate of the entire planet Earth hinges on the very last moment of Goku saving the Earth. Now, I do not think in the Saiyan arc that Vegeta is a planet buster. If Vegeta were to gather up all of his ki, fire it into a powerful one blast, I do not think he would blow up the Earth. I think what it would do instead is it would wipe out the Earth's surface. I think that Saiyan arc, Vegeta's Gallic Gun, would wipe out and destroy the entire surface of the planet, or a very good proportion of the surface. I think that if serious, he could wipe out and destroy all of humanity and all life on Earth, but I do not think that Vegeta could destroy the planet. Regardless, Vegeta fires up his Gallic Gun as he mocks Kakarot, saying that even if he flees, like the coward he is, he will still not survive, and neither will his precious humanity. Goku powers up the threefold Kaioken and uses the Kamehameha. Goku, Son Goku, fires the threefold Kaioken Kamehameha. Vegeta fires the Gallic Gun, and just as with Piccolo or Demon Jr. in the 23rd Greatest Under the Heavens martial arts tournament, they go into a beam struggle. But this time, the fate of all of mankind hangs on the very balance of that beam struggle. Kamehameha versus Gallic Gun. And Goku gives all his strength, all of his tenacity, and it is equal in strength to Vegeta's beam. Then, at the last second, as Kaio tells Goku, "Don't do it," Goku does the fourfold Kaioken, which powers him up even more. He breaks the hold or the deadlock of the Gallic Gun and blows Vegeta out. Vegeta is overpowered by a low-class Saiyan, as he is blown away by the fourfold Kaioken Kamehameha, almost into the outer reaches of the edge of space. But Goku can no longer use the Kaioken. He is truly tired and overpowered and covered in blood and sweat. Yajirobe congratulates Goku on killing the Saiyan, or the last Saiyan. But Goku explains that it's not over yet. He explains that that guy is really, really, really strong and tough. And he's not dead. And he'll be back soon. Yajirobe of all people, tells Goku to have the best of luck and runs away and rushes off like he always does. Ah, good old Yajirobe. Anyways, Vegeta pulls himself out of the Kamehameha as it flies right into outer space. Vegeta, who is now really angry and ticked off, exclaims that he might have to transform into a great ape or an Ozaru in order to crush Kakarot. In order to transform, he will need the Earth's moon. The greatest strength of the Saiyans is their innate ability to transform into the Ozaru, the great ape. But as Vegeta flies around the planet to find the moon, it turns out that Nappa and Vegeta had been calculating to come to Earth when the moon was about to be full, so as to use its blitz waves to transform, so they could use their greater Ozaru forms to wipe out life on the planet easier and quicker. However, as Kaio laughs at Vegeta, because if you remember, first of all, Jackie Chun blew up the moon in the tournament. It was brought back with the Dragon Balls. Then Piccolo blew up the moon to stop Gohan from turning into an Ozaru. So Kaio is laughing at Vegeta. Vegeta cannot find the moon, so Vegeta probably just figures that Kakarot destroyed the moon with his Kamehameha before Raditz arrived or something. So Vegeta returns and talks with Kakarot, or with Goku. Vegeta points out that that was very clever of him to destroy the moon so he could not transform, especially since Goku does not have a tail anymore and cannot transform into a great ape. However, Vegeta explains that while only a few Saiyans actually know this technique, as he powers up and gathers a tremendous amount of his remaining ki into his hand and creates and generates an energy ball, a very bright and shining light-based energy ball. Vegeta explains that on most planets, they have orbital satellites known as moons. These moons, when they reflect or refract the light of the sun or their star on their planet, can generate about roughly 15,000 or something, about 15 billion Blutz waves, or 15 billion or 15 trillion something Blutz waves. Regardless of the shape or the size of that moon around that planet, so long as that moon is full, more than enough of those necessary Blutz waves can go through a Saiyan's eyes. And when a Saiyan sees more than 15 billion Blutz waves, it affects their tail and it triggers a reaction in their tail, in their genes. And it triggers their genes to transform them into Ozarus. Goku has no idea what Vegeta is talking about. So Vegeta fires the light energy ball, makes it blow up in the atmosphere in space, and it creates an artificial moon that then generates artificial Blutz waves. With this power, Vegeta is able to undergo the metamorphosis. Krillin and Gohan notice the artificial moon and begin to wonder if they should go to where they're fighting to see what's going on. So Gohan and Krillin decide to go where Goku and Vegeta are fighting. Vegeta transforms as he is covered in fur, and just like the Wolfman, and just like Goku did in Emperor Pilaf's castle, and at the 21st greatest under the heavens martial arts tournament, Vegeta transforms into a great Ozaru. His power becomes 10 times greater than before, and he shows the true brute strength of the Saiyan. Kaio knows for sure that Goku will now lose. And so, Ozaru Vegeta begins to pound and crush at Goku. Goku finally at last, and so at long last, all throughout, if you remember what I told you before, you remember at the end of the Emperor Pilaf arc, where I told you that they don't tell Goku about the Ozaru form, or that he stomped on his grandpa. Same thing at the 21st Budokai and the Uronai Baba arc. At long last, in the Dragon Ball mangaka, Goku finally learns the truth. Goku remembers when he was a kid that his grandpa, Son Gohan, warned him that if he ever went out into the light of the full moon, a monster known as the Ozaru, or the Great Ape, would come and appear. And Goku knew that that monster killed his grandpa. Goku remembers that Kami told him that that tail should be severed and removed, and Goku accepted it. And at long last, for the first time in Dragon Ball, Goku finally understands that the Ozaru was him. He looked at the Earth's full moon, and because of his Saiyan tail, he transformed into the Ozaru. He stomped on his grandpa to death. He stomped his grandpa to death, and he tore up things at the World Martial Arts Tournament. Now Goku has finally realized the true evil of the Saiyans and the power and rage of these primal beings. And so Ozaru Vegeta stomps at Goku and misses. Then Ozaru Vegeta slaps Goku with his giant great ape fist and almost overpowers him. Goku, using the Kaioken, manages to dodge Ozaru Vegeta's attacks. But despite the size of Vegeta, Vegeta can still fly, he can still use the Buku Jutsu, and he is still very fast and is able and capable to fight as he would as a Saiyan. So Goku has to very carefully and critically think about what he's going to do. Anyways, Goku looks at the sun and remembers Ten Shenhan. He remembers his old friend and the technique that he learned and uses the Soryoken. Goku uses the Soryoken and blinds Ozaru Vegeta, flies as far as he can with the Kaioken, and begins to gather energy for the Genki Dama, the Spirit Bomb, the last technique that Kaio taught him when he was training under Kaio. So Goku calls upon all life of the world, the plants, the animals, all living things, to give him a bit of his Genki, to share enough of their Genki for him to gather into the Genki Dama. So Goku gathers up the Genki Dama, which takes quite a bit of time to do. Vegeta regains his sight, and he eventually spots out Goku. Now, this is interesting. Vegeta does not have a scouter. Vegeta doesn't have his scouter anymore, but he can sense Goku's ki or Kakarot's ki. Yes, that's right. Vegeta is learning through his fighting with Kakarot how to sense power levels without a scouter, how to disguise and hide and suppress his ki, how to raise his ki, and how to become stronger the more that he fights. How to become even more stronger the more that he fights. Vegeta senses Goku's power level and finds him, and at the last second, as Goku is about to summon up the power ball, the Genki Dama, Vegeta fires a Great Ape Ozaru mouth blast that hits Goku, causing a hydrogen bomb explosion and a giant mushroom cloud hovering over the horizon. There is a gigantic hydrogen bomb explosion that results, and a mushroom cloud goes up overhead. Goku is still alive, but he has lost half of the Genki. Goku has lost about half of the Genki. Vegeta stomps on him with his giant great ape foot and proceeds with his finger to kill Goku. Goku points out that it's over. He is out of ki and Genki. But using the very last ki that he has, Goku fires a Kai blast out of his hand and hits Vegeta in the eye, damaging and hurting Vegeta's face. Goku points out that he does not even have enough ki to actually pick his nose or to blow out his nose. So Vegeta picks up Kakarot and crushes him. He breaks both of Goku's legs and breaks his bones. With Vegeta's great ape Ozaru hands, he crushes Goku's body as he proceeds to tear him apart limb by limb. Kuririn and Gohan are absolutely shocked and devastated to see what Vegeta has transformed into. They also find and run into Yajirobe, who tells them that he has turned into a giant monster when he created that gigantic energy ball of light in the sky. Kuririn finally realizes that even without the moon, the Saiyans can find other ways to turn into Ozarus. Krillin points out that Vegeta has somehow turned into an Ozaru, just like how Goku used to do when he was a kid at the 21st Greatest Under the Heavens Martial Arts Tournament. Of course, this is Gohan's first time seeing the Ozaru form too. So anyways, Kuririn says that they need to cut off Vegeta's tail. So they hatch out a plan to cut off his tail. Yajirobe does not participate, but continues to spectate. Anyways, Kuririn and Gohan rush around to sneak up on Great Ape Ozaru Vegeta. Gohan tries to distract Vegeta, as Vegeta says that he already heard them running around like little insects that deserve to be crushed and squashed. Kuririn creates another Kienzin and throws the Kienzin at Vegeta, but Vegeta jumps over it and dodges it, and the Kienzan goes right through the cliff under Gohan, almost causing him to fall. Kuririn fails to understand what happened. Great Ape Vegeta explains that while he is in the Ozaru state or form, while he is in his transformed state, great apes or Ozarus have very excellent hearing, and he can easily hear anything that they say, and he was already on to their plan to cut off his tail. So, Vegeta continues to laugh and to mock them as he continues to crush Goku. Both of Goku's arms and legs are broken or seriously damaged and injured. Goku is very seriously injured. Then at the very last second, Yajirobe, with his samurai katana, cuts off Great Ape Ozaru Vegeta's Saiyan tail. The tail is severed, and Vegeta loses his power or his ability to stay in that form. Vegeta drops Goku on the ground, causing Goku to be damaged even more. Then Vegeta reverse transforms back into his base, as does his tail. An angry, furious, blood-stained Vegeta is truly surprised. But even in his weakened and deprived state, Vegeta is still very aware and can still continue to fight. And so Vegeta jumps up and kicks Kuririn, punches him and beats him up and throws him off the cliff. Then he lunges and attacks and beats up Goku a bit more, and then goes at Gohan. So, Goku's son Gohan, and Vegeta begin their fight. Using all of the training that Piccolo taught him, Gohan at last goes all out. It turns out that Gohan is a very good fighter, a very good martial artist, as he fires Masenko attacks at Vegeta, punches and kicks him, and flies into the air and attacks and lunges at him. But Vegeta just headbutts Gohan, throws him or somersault punches Gohan into the dirt, and kicks him around. But Gohan continues to fight back, throwing punches and using martial arts and firing Masenko hose, but to no avail. As Gohan and Vegeta continue fighting Saiyan style, Kuririn tries to see if Goku is okay. Goku gathers all of the other half of the Genki that he still has, draws it out and transfers it to Kuririn, or transfers the Genki to Krillin. He tells Krillin to empty his mind and to concentrate into his inner Zen, his inner warrior Zen, and tells him to concentrate and focus it into the palm of his hand to turn it into a ball. And so it does. A bright, sparkling, pure, watery ball of pure Genki energy. The Genki Dama, the Spirit Bomb. So, the Spirit Bomb is a dub retard term. Don't use the Spirit Bomb. It's what a dub retard uses. Only dub retards use that lingua franca. It's the Genki Dama. The Genki Dama is the only thing that they have left now to win this fight. So Kuyurin, after being instructed by Goku, goes on top of a cliff and prepares to fight. Vegeta is busy punching and throwing punches over Gohan, somersault punching him, roundhouse kicking him and stuff, and they're fighting. Anyways, Gohan uses the Flash or the Zanzokin. So Gohan uses the Zanzokin, or the after image technique. Goku actually used the combination of the Zanzokin and the Kaioken during his fight with Vegeta earlier, but Vegeta recognizes the after image technique and blocks it. Gohan tries to use a double Senko Ho attack, 2 Kai blasts, that doesn't work. So Vegeta finally overpowers Gohan. He beats Gohan up into a pulp, grapples him, and throws him into a rocks that causes an entire cliff to fall down, and continues to punch and kick him. Kuyurin is uncertain if he can use the Genki Dama. Suddenly, a voice comes into his mind. He doesn't recognize who it is, but he addresses himself as Kaio-sama, the man who trained Goku and taught Goku how to use the Genki Dama. He tells Kuyurin that he must concentrate with everything he has, for within that ball of energy, in that Genki, is all of the hope, all of the hopes, and everything of all of humanity. The fate of Earth, the fate of all of humankind, rests upon what happens to that Genki Dama. Kuyurin calms his heart. He empties his mind and he calms himself and focuses for the right moment. Vegeta begins to fire multiple Kai blasts, burning yellow Kai blasts. I think they're called Kaidons or Kaidons. So Vegeta fires Kaidon blasts at Gohan after he somersault punches Gohan. Gohan is running as Vegeta fires multiple dozens and dozens and hundreds of Kaidon blasts at Gohan. Then he rushes towards Gohan. At that very split second, Krillin fires the Genki Dama, but Vegeta, sensing what it could be, jumps and dodges it. Then it goes towards Gohan. Gohan is overcome with fear, overcome with uncertainty, but Goku telepathically mind reads and contacts Gohan. Yes, Goku now knows how to read minds, or to mind read and mentally communicate telepathy with others. Goku tells Gohan to not be afraid. So long as there is no evil in his heart, the Genki Dama will not harm him. Goku reflects or deflects the Genki Dama at Vegeta. It hits Vegeta, and he is truly overpowered in a bright phase of lightning. Thunder and lightning spill out across the sky as bolts of tremendous amounts of energy encircle everywhere. The ground shakes. Lightning pops out. Vegeta screams in agony as his head is turned from top to left, stretched out. Vegeta is electrocuted and shot upwards into the sky, completely incinerated by the Genki. But, as Kaio explains, and as Yajirobe, Kuyurin, Gohan, and Goku celebrate, this very well might not be the end of the Saiyan Vegeta. Vegeta is shot upwards into the atmosphere, but is able to still, nonetheless, despite his sustained injuries, pull himself out of the Genki beam, and he falls to the ground. Vegeta falls down to the ground and hits it hard. Not too far away from where the fighting is taking place, there is a levitational ship or an airship. Bulma is piloting it. Karen, Roshi, Bulma, Chi-Chi, Gayumao are in the airship riding it. I think Oolong is there too. Just as they did in the Red Ribbon Army and the Devil Emperor Piccolo arcs, the others are on their way to the battlefield to try to participate and give aid, hoping that maybe, just maybe, the fighting with the Saiyans is over. Vegeta gets up. He is very injured, but he is very ticked off. Vegeta points out that he is completely out of strength, and because of having to deal with these absolute weaklings and wimps, he is almost completely out of energy, and that this fight has made it to where he will have to go to sleep and take a nap for a while. Vegeta points out that he will have to sleep and recover from this fight with weaklings. Nevertheless, even though he has almost used up all of his strength, Vegeta powers up his ki. Bolts of electricity cover around his body as he sends out a gigantic light, like the sun that fans out, followed by a gigantic explosion like an atomic bomb. An atomic bomb explosion. The ground shakes as an atomic bomb explosion blows out with a mushroom cloud over the horizon. As the incinerating dust falls, as the incinerating dust finally settles, Vegeta is almost tired and out of energy. Nevertheless, he is just barely able to levitate. Nevertheless, Vegeta is just barely able to levitate. But to Vegeta's chagrin, Gohan has grown a Saiyan tail. Gohan has regrown his tail. Vegeta knows that if Gohan sees the artificial moon, he will transform. Vegeta tries to cut off his tail, but something strikes Vegeta. Yajirobe, with his samurai katana, slices right through Vegeta, scarring and injuring his back. Vegeta coughs out blood and screams in agony. Vegeta screams in agony and coughs out blood. So finally, Vegeta knows it was Yajirobe who cut off his Ozaru tail. Yajirobe exclaims that he wants to be best buds with Vegeta, and he actually kind of likes him and thinks they should be buddies. Vegeta punches Yajirobe and kicks him into a pile of rocks, causing Yajirobe to fall out and pass out in shock. But Goku, using telepathy, gets Gohan to look at the artificial moon, and he transforms. With the necessary amounts of blitz waves, Gohan begins to transform into a great ape Ozaru. Vegeta rushes off and beats up and tries to stop it. As Gohan grows and metamorphs, Then he tries to pull off Gohan's Saiyan tail, but Gohan kicks him or blocks him out of the way. It's too late. The transformation is complete. Gohan is now a great ape Ozaru. Gohan knocks down the cliff and pounds and stomps about and goes on a destruction spree. He pulls up a giant boulder and is about to crush Yajirobe when suddenly Goku telepathically mind reads or contacts son Gohan and tells him that the real enemy is Vegeta and that he must crush and destroy Vegeta. Great Ape Ozaru Son Gohan throws the boulder and tries to crush Vegeta. Vegeta very easily dodges as he is forced to fight against the Saiyan, against the Great Ape Ozaru. So, in the anime, there is a little bit of fighting that takes place. You have scenes where Vegeta fires Kaidan blasts at Great Ape Ozaru Son Gohan. Nothing like that in the manga. In the mangaka, there is no really extra fighting left. Instead, I think what happens is Vegeta flies up into the air. Great Ape Ozaru Gohan flies up into the air, chasing after him. Vegeta copies Kuyarin's technique and creates a Kienzan. So Vegeta creates a Kienzan and throws it and cuts off Gohan's tail. So Gohan's tail is severed and Gohan begins to reverse transform. However, because Vegeta is underneath Great Ape Ozaru Son Gohan, he is actually unable or does not have enough ki to fly out of Gohan's way. So while Gohan doesn't have his tail, he's transforming back, he's reverse transforming, he falls down on Vegeta and they crash on the ground. Vegeta is crushed on the ground underneath Gohan as he reverse transforms. And that is the end of the fighting. That is the end of the fighting. Vegeta is covered in blood. He is broken. He is injured. Vegeta is defeated. Vegeta has been defeated. And the Earth has been saved from the Saiyans. But regardless, after Gohan changes back to his Saiyan, half Saiyan base, and by the way, this is the last time that the Great Ape or the Ozaru is shown. So, just as when I covered the 21st Greatest Under the Heavens martial arts tournament, and I told you there would be no more Ozarus until the Saiyan arc, this is the end of the Ozaru in the manga. There's not going to be no more Ozarus or Great Apes. So Vegeta pulls out his controller, and he calls his Saiyan attack ball. Halfway across the world at Central Metropolis, there are crewmen that are trying to dig up Nappa and Vegeta's Saiyan attack balls, and they're loading them up onto trucks. Scientists and caretakers are wondering why these things from outer space came down and why the entire city and surrounding area was destroyed or wiped out by them, and if they may be a cause of it. But Vegeta's Saiyan attack ball flies up and leaves, and they are completely shocked. They're wondering if the attack ball is going to kill them, but it doesn't. the Saiyan attack ball powers up and goes halfway around the planet, as it is called by remote control, to Vegeta's location. Kuyarin is determined to make sure that Vegeta never is able to recover or to make a comeback. So Kuyarin gets Yajirobe's samurai sword and prepares to kill Vegeta and finish him off. Vegeta's Saiyan attack ball lands, the door opens, he leaves the remote control device on the ground, and he just kind of whimpers and crawls as he scoffs and moans and bemoans about how he has been defeated so easily by a bunch of low-class trash. So Vegeta, as he is about to climb into his spaceship, notices and looks behind and sees Kuyarin with Yajirobe's samurai katana. Krillin says that he will not let the Saiyan escape the Earth because he knows that he will come back and cause more trouble than ever before. Vegeta laughs and mocks Kuyarin and tells him to put that plastic piece of garbage away. Then Kuyarin is telepathically contacted by Son Goku. Just as in the 23rd tournament, Goku tells Kuyarin that he is a Saiyan, and because of his Saiyan heritage, he loves to fight. Goku loves fighting and battles and martial arts, and he loved his fighting an opponent. Goku points out to Kuyarin that perhaps this might be crazy of him, perhaps even very insane of him to say, but Goku's fight with Vegeta was the best fight that he had had since he had fought Devil Emperor Piccolo in the 23rd greatest under the heavens martial arts tournament, and that he wants to one day fight Vegeta again. So Son Goku asks for Kuyarin to spare Vegeta's life. This is probably one of the dumbest mistakes that Goku ever makes. Regardless, Kuyarin points out that this is the greatest mistake that the Earth has ever made. And so, for the future of Dragon Ball and every subsequent development, Kuyarin spares Vegeta's life. Vegeta points out that he will recover and get well, and he will come back and get his revenge. Vegeta gets into his Saiyan attack ball, the door closes, and just as this arc began with a Saiyan attack ball crashing on Earth, the door opening and Raditz coming out, this arc, the Saiyan arc, closes with Vegeta blasting off in his attack ball into outer space, to whereabouts unknown. And that is the end of the Saiyan arc. Then, the airship that Bulma and the others are in, Roshi and Bulma and Karin arrive. Karin and Roshi are truly impressed, but also dumbstrucken with how Goku looks. But nonetheless, they are glad that Goku is alive again instead of being dead. And so they get Goku, Gohan, who is asleep. Chi-Chi takes care of Gohan. Kuyarin and Yajirobe. They get into the airship and they fly off to the Western City. Now, you're probably wanting to know what happens to the artificial moon that Vegeta created. After a few hours, the Kai, or the energy in the ball, wears out, and I guess it disappears. I don't know. I don't know what happens to the artificial moon. I guess at some point it wears out and vanishes, or it flickers out, or someone fires a Kai blast and destroys it. I don't know. Anyways, as the closing of the battle takes place, Goku is put in a stretcher and is sent to the hospital. Everyone is sad and upset with the death of everyone, so what they do is they fly to the location of the bodies of Piccolo, Ten Shenhan, and Yamcha. They pick up their bodies and put them into preservation capsules. If you remember when I was covering the Devil Emperor Piccolo arc, Krillin, Roshi, and Chaozu's bodies were put into preservation capsules. So those things still exist. Piccolo, Ten Shenhan, and Yamcha's bodies are put into preservation capsules, but there's no Dragon Balls, so they can't resurrect their dead friends. So the driving plot for the next arc, the next upcoming saga, is going to have to do with how they can bring back their dead friends. How can they bring their dead friends back to life that were killed by Nappa and the Sai-Bai men? Anyways, they're on the airship talking and discussing about things. And so Kuririn, or Krillin, explains that he knows of a way. He explains that the Saiyans were talking about a far-off, distant planet. A planet in another galaxy called Planet Namek. He explains that Planet Namek is the homeland of the Namekians. The original Namekian that Kami and Devil Emperor Piccolo split off from came from Planet Namek. And that is how they had the ability to make the Dragon Balls. Because Kami came from Namek, they figure that if they travel to Planet Namek, they could find another set of Dragon Balls to wish back their dead friends. But there is no way to go to Planet Namek. So Goku calls forth and contacts Kaio, and Kaio searches around and finds Namek and gives Goku, who then gives Bulma the coordinates to then calculate to find where Namek is. But Kaio explains that quite some time ago, a tremendous storm or tremendous storms and weather struck Namek and almost wiped out and destroyed all of the intelligent life forms there. Karin explains that must be why the Namekian that Kami split off from came to Earth. Many, many hundreds of years ago, the nameless Namekian came to Earth that began to be trained by the previous Kami. That Namekian that split off into Piccolo, Daimao, and Kami must have escaped the extreme weather and natural conditions or natural disasters of the planet that were occurring on the planet at the time. And so Kami was actually a refugee. Piccolo and Kami are refugees. So anyways, there is concern that will there be evil Namekians? Kaio explains that there are about 100-something Namekians still alive and living on planet Namek. And they are all inherently of a good and peaceful and passive nature. But they are very tough and possess magical and unique abilities, including the abilities to make the Dragon Balls or things like Dragon Balls. What happened to Devil Emperor Piccolo, as Roshi and Korin point out, is that after hundreds of years of exposure to the evil and wicked nature of man and the dark nature of humanity, Devil Emperor, the nameless Namekian, gained and possessed an evil that he later expelled when he became Kami, and that evil became Piccolo Daimao. So Piccolo Daimao, Devil Emperor Piccolo, was actually a product of the evil of mankind and not of the Namekians. Because of the good nature of the Namekians and the exposure that the nameless Namekian or Kami had to humanity, that is what led to the creation of Piccolo Daimao. Regardless, they need a spaceship to travel there. Bulma finds the exact coordinates to planet Namek, and explains that with current human technology, it would take them over 4,300 years to get to Namek. But Kuririn has the remote device that Vegeta had left. He points out that there is another Saiyan attack ball that is still around. If they could use the remote control device, they could tap into it and use it to go to Namek. And so that is the plan. So everyone goes to the hospital in West City. So everyone goes to Guadong Hospital in West City or Western Metropolis. And Goku is in a hospital bed. Without Senzu beans, it will take a month for Goku to recover. But Karin explains that he can grow Senzu beans in much less time than a month, and Goku will have to wait until there's another Senzu bean. Gohan and Kuririn were only mildly damaged in their fight with Nappa and Vegeta, the Saiyans, and so after a night at the hospital, they recover. So there is this scene on the television. Everyone's watching the television. There is a news bulletin about the spaceship they found in the wreckage of what used to be the central metropolis. When Nappa and Vegeta arrived in the central metropolis, Nappa blew up the city. So they think it was caused by the spaceship. So scientists have the spaceship isolated in a laboratory. Bulma, who had studied the remote control overnight, begins pressing the buttons to try to get the Saiyan attack ball to react, but she presses the wrong button, and as a result, the Saiyan attack ball blows up. Yep, that's right. The Saiyan attack ball self-destructs and blows up on live broadcast, has the entire laboratory, and everything is destroyed and damaged with it. Thankfully, nobody dies, but that's the end of the research of Nappa's Saiyan attack ball. So, without a spaceship, or without some kind of means of traveling through space, they can't go to planet Namek. They don't have a spaceship. Then, outside of the hospital window is Mr. Popo. Now, Mr. Popo is a magical creature. He's kind of like a genie, but he's just a magical creature. He is on a flying carpet. Mr. Popo says that he knows of a way to find another spaceship. And he asks if somebody would want to go with him. So Mr. Popo asks if someone can go with him, and he will take them to the location of another ancient spaceship that they could definitely use to go to planet Namek. And so, Bulma begins her journey with Mr. Popo to the most distant Yanzabit Heights, because it is there, hundreds of years ago, that a spaceship from planet Namek landed, carrying the nameless Namekian that later split and became Kami and Piccolo Daimao. This is the ancient spaceship that they will use to travel to planet Namek. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the Saiyan arc. So, what are my personal thoughts about the Saiyan arc? It's great. Really awesome. Lots of epic, death-streaming battles. The fights are amazing. The storytelling is not too deep. It's a lot deeper in the anime. Most of the training is skipped over. The fighting is pretty brutal. The fighting techniques, the dialogue is great, on par. So, there are some weak points in the dialogue, especially in the Nappa part. And it kind of feels as if the fighting with Nappa and Raditz is a bit sidelined. A bit. The Vegeta fighting is much better. So, overall, with the techniques, the new lore about Goku and Piccolo's alien origins or alien heritage and everything else, I, Imperatorofforge, Forge Warhammer, give Dragon Ball the Saiyan arc, the manga version, the mangaka version, a 9.5 out of 10. Possibly a 10 out of 10. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I give the Saiyan arc, the Vegeta arc, a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, so the next arc will be the Frieza arc. I hope that you will join me next Saiyan Fridays as I begin the Frieza or the Freezer arc. I am your host, Imperatorofforge. M7MD says hi. Hi there, M7MD. Bye for now. Forge Gang, I'm still a hard man. Stay hard!